What's up, everyone? It is Coach Dylan. I am here with a little post-game soul support video. I know a lot of you were asking me to record the session, maybe make a video. So I thought I would just make a video going over really quick just about everything I said in the seminar, as long as a really quick run through of the workout if you want to try it at home. So this is for you guys who asked and anyone else who's interested. All right, so soul support, where do we start? We start with why is ankle health so important, and I really wanted to start with why is ankle health so important to me. So it may be hard to see in the video, but this is me in my martial arts gear. I used to do karate for about 13 years, but I spent about 90 to 100% of my time in that classes barefoot. And funny enough, in that photo, you can see the exact issue that is going on right here. Even though I spent all this time barefoot, always training barefoot, jumping barefoot, I still have flat feet. So don't feel so hard on yourself if you think, oh, mine's not irreversible, it takes so much time. It does. It's going to be a slow process. It's going to be some work. It may not be perfect, but we can definitely get it done. But why is ankle health important? First of all, it's our strong foundation. Just like a building, a statue, anything else that stands tall, you need a strong, wide base. Well, that is the same for your feet. If you had the tallest building in the world, but the base of it was smaller than the top, well, what happened? One breeze over, and the whole thing is falling to the ground. Well, that's the same idea. If we have thin and narrow feet, and we get bumped, guess what? We fall off balance. If our toes aren't engaged, we can't really lean from side to side. It's more just a fall and catch type of scenario. If we have good ankle health as well, we avoid compensation, if you can read that. So that's another great pickup on this picture over here. This is a whole, I hope you guys can see it, picture of how flat feet can make the whole body compensate as a whole. I'm going to run through it right now real quick on myself. So some of you may think, oh man, I have knee pain, hip pain, back pain, neck pain, but it could be coming from your feet and you would never know. Well, let's figure out why. So if we start and are nice, get some good arches, feet spread, everything how we would like it, everything looks fine. Knees are even, shoulders are even, hips are even, no problem. What happens? Let's say my left foot here falls. It's small, but it's a difference, right? So let's start from the bottom. What happens? Foot falls flat. That means our joint here, ankle to foot joint, is just like a wrist. It's made up of a bunch of different bones, kind of like a chicken nugget puzzle of bones, all meshed and mushed together. But they lock in how they're supposed to when they need to. Well, if that ankle falls out, or some more pressure, more weight gets put on to one side, that foot falls flat, and maybe things don't lock up as well, or they don't slide past each other as well as they should be. That's where we see our first problem. Moving up the chain, so from the ankle to the knee, the foot falls, the knee shifts inwards. This is where you see a lot of times when people are doing their squats and their feet fall flat, that's when you get the knees to fall in, right? So that's why we say push those knees out. It's really a cue for your feet. Keep the arches of your foot strong. Press that big toe into the floor. Let's keep moving up the chain. Our foot falls flat, ankles out, knee is out. What happens? That hip shifts or even rotates sometimes. This is where a lot of you guys see your pain. This is a big SI joint lower back causer right here. So that hip shifts. What happens? Weight distribution goes to one side. This is where we got that hip kick out, lean to one side. But what happens with our hips? So our hips are like a little socket this way. So if they were here, our spine goes down the middle. Our hips, if we shift to one side closes and the other side opens. So one side stretches and one side closes as we shift those hips. This is where you're getting all that pain in that lower back region. So if we can make the foot flat, or not flat, get that arch back, get the shift out of the way, we become more neutral in that lower back and hopefully save us a little bit of pain. But same way, still keeps going up the body. Those hips shift. That means our ribs shift, shoulders shift. That's when you get one shoulder higher than the other, or you can see one rib flaring out at the bottom if you're looking at yourself in the mirror. All comes from your foot, and you would never know, right? So that's what we're trying to get at. So avoiding compensation, that is step 2. And then just along with that, once we get it all down, we ease the movement of everything else. Walking gets easier, squatting gets easier, jumping, running, sprinting, anything. If you can do it correctly with the correct form, it should be easier and feel better. So what do we do next? Well, we're going to have to make a change. So how do I make a change? First off, most importantly, easiest one to do is your shoe choice. So it's not your guy's fault, it's not anyone's fault. It's just a lack of education and knowledge globally about what shoes we should be wearing, how different shoes affect our feet, and how we can fix it. We don't really know, and no one ever really tells us. So most of your problems really start here. And there's 3 main points I have to make about shoes and the 3 different problems I have with them. So starting off, number 1 is the toe box. That is the tip, the part that goes over your toes. They're way too narrow. So our feet normally would like to spread out, like our hands. It's easier to grab something when you have more distance between your fingers to grab them than just this way, nice and tight. Same thing with your feet. If you can spread your feet out, get that nice, wide, large base, makes you more stable and easy to stand, right? Same idea. All our shoes nowadays have these tight toe boxes, really scrunch and squeeze the feet together. It's what gives us bunions, crossed over toes, really a big leader in that flat foot department, because especially when that foot or big toe shifts in, that takes off a lot of stability into that flat foot area. From there, the soles of your shoes are also most likely way too thick. And the sole, your shoe itself, should mold to your foot. Your foot should not have to mold to the shoe. So let's say you're getting in a shoe, has a thick, nice little sole. I'm not talking about a squishy one, I'm talking about a nice, solid, hard sole, a little thick, maybe a little height adder, something like that. Our foot has a natural little curve to it. So if the sole is flat and our foot has a curve, your foot's going to want to have to match to that flat. Well, that flat is the same thing as a flat foot. So that is problem 1 and 2 of our shoes. Now some of you think, what about the soft squishy shoes like Hoka's where they mold to your feet? They're really good for your arches, stuff like that. And I'll agree with you, they're really good to an extent. Those shoes are really good if you're someone, let's say, on your feet 10, 12 hours a day, working, walking long distances, carrying a lot of stuff. Fine, I get it. You're 10 hours on your feet. Your feet are going to be tired. They're going to need that support to help them get through that day. That's all good, all fine by me. But it's when you come into the gym and you want to train those feet, train your whole body to be better, that's when we need a barefoot styled shoe. Those cushy soles, they actually make your foot weaker. Although they may hold it in that position that we like, your foot now has to do no work to keep it in the place that it needs. That means no training, no strength, no stability, all out the window, especially after months of wearing them, years, decades. Think about it, if you haven't been really working your foot, but it's been in that nice shape, it'll be in that nice shape when you look at it, but as soon as you put it on the ground, everything's going to fall flat, and that's where we find those problems. Well, how do we fix that? So, training the whole ankle and foot. There isn't one-stop shop, one-size-fits-all solution to your own ankles or anyone's ankles. It is working in all ranges of motion, all directions, and of course, training stability, balance, and strength. Another thing I want us to think about, especially when training the ankles and even just some of your even more basic movements, do these in your warm-ups, things like that, slow it down. Sure, I could do squats really fast, but I'm sure my form isn't going to be great. If I really think about it, really think about grabbing the floor, gripping my toes, the form somehow becomes a lot smoother and a lot easier. How else can we make progress? I already said barefoot shoes. We recommend Zero here at Gage. Just a brand that we all like. Make a ton of different shoes, a ton of different styles for a bunch of different needs. Ankle strengthening, that's what we're going to do here in a second. Foot massage and mobility. We'll do a little bit of mobility. Foot massages, we'll do some of that. A tennis ball, rolling that out. There's also something called the foot and hand glove. So if you think about interlocking your fingers like that, you can do the same thing with your foot. Take your hand, lock it, or push those fingers through your toes, just like that, and then you're gonna rock that foot up and down, going this way. And that's just gonna open up between those toes, really spread the foot out, another real good bunion corrector as well. And then also these muscles, all these digits up here in the forefoot, they like to get tight and cramped, especially in those tight shoes, so it just opens them up as well. Then tennis ball, like I said, just rolling it out, roll out the bottom of the foot, we'll do some of that. And then toe spreaders, I can't say I agree or disagree with them yet. I have only used them sparingly. So far, I don't have a problem. I definitely see how they could be used to help spread some people's feet out, but I can't give you any long-term updates on that yet. From here, how should we stand? We can't get into our workout if we don't know how to stand. So you can get my feet a little more. So how do we stand? Let's break it down. So our foot has 3 points of contact when we are standing tall. If we are walking, running, jumping, things can change. This is just for how should I stand straight up and down so I know I'm square, not shifting my weight, adding compensation to my body. So we have our first point of contact, that is the heel, just straight through the middle of our heel. Point 2 is just at the base of the big toe, that big knuckle ball of the foot. And then point 3 is straight across the foot from there, under the pinky toe or ring finger digit of your foot on that knuckle as well. If you can see this foot up here, this is our triangle. Now, we never want to have our weight distributed on one point of that triangle. We always want to meet in the middle. That's how you be stable, right? Balance everything out. So, we are looking to get our weight right through the middle of that foot. I like to almost think of the foot as a pyramid. So it looks like a triangle from the bottom, but if you look at it from the side, it comes up as a triangle this way as well. So all your weight should go through the highest point of that triangle, or right through the top of your foot, down through the bottom. That's where we're looking. So how do we do that? Step 1, heels down, shoulder width apart. Easy peasy, weight on the heels. From here, I want you to shift some weight forward, press the big toes into the ground. And I don't want you to think about just pressing the tip of the big toe into the ground. I want you to press the whole knuckle, ball of the foot, forefoot, really lean into that front foot. From there, press the rest of your toes into the floor and curl those feet out. Try to touch the edge of your foot, press that into the ground. That's how we get our third point. From there, once we are feeling good, find your sweet spot. Rock it back and forth while all the toes are gripping, everything's ripped into the ground. Where do you feel the least amount of pressure? That should be right over the middle of your foot, where you feel balanced, secure, nothing is really leaning forward, backwards, side to side. This is how we stand, and it may feel difficult. Like me standing here correctly right now, my feet are literally grabbing the floor, and it is an exercise, a little bit of a workout. So, that does not just apply to the foot. We want to keep everything aligned, keep our load management, all the weight distributed correctly, but that also counts for the rest of your body. So we just did our feet. We want to make sure our ribs are stacked, we're not flaring everything out, back arched, no shoulders slouching, hips tucked forward. Everything needs to be stacked. Our body is one cohesive unit. Why does this triangle work? That is called an arch spring mechanism. So the arch of our foot is like a little band. I like to think of like a physio ball. If you chopped it in half, if you press down on the top of the physio ball, it's going to pop back up, right? Well, that's the same arch as your foot. You press your weight into it, it springs back up. And then, super important, make sure we don't forget, is that toe engagement. I know we just talked about really gripping the floor with those toes, but it's a huge player in your balance. Let's say I could rock forward and backwards, no problem, picking up my toes and just using my big toe, but it's that side-to-side movement. Let's say I got bumped, but I didn't use my toes, that's how we're gonna fall. Or if we have weak toes, we can't lean side to side, well, that's when we start to get issues. That's when we roll ankles, fall, catch ourselves, relying on catching ourselves more than leaning and balancing ourselves out. So try that at home. We are moving into our warm-up. So to start it off, tennis ball rollout. I said we would do some of this today. Nice and simple. I want you to stick between the ball of your foot and the heel, so anywhere in the middle. You can favor a side more towards the arch. You can stick more towards the outside. Whatever feels good for you. This is really just about opening up the foot, since it has been squished in our shoes for so long, especially if you put a lot of weight on that tennis ball. You can really feel your foot mold and open up over the top of it. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Once you're done there, toe walks and heel walks. Toe walks, nice and easy. Heels come off the ground, sitting on the balls of our feet. This is when our 3 points of contact changes. If we are running, jumping, sprinting, anything like that, where our heels are not on the ground, like we said earlier, we want to meet in the middle. We don't want to pick one side, either 2 or 3, as our point of contact. We want to meet right in the middle. So if our 2 points are the base of our big toe and the base of our pinky toe, then we meet in the middle at the base of our middle toes, and that's where we should stand. So toe walks, nice and easy. You can actually walk, or you can just walk forward and backward a few steps. Just working it out, warming up those ankles. Once we get that, same thing, toes up, heel walks. Walking forward and backwards, working on the top of the foot here. Something that's also very forgotten about. Also a huge, important player in walking. If you ever notice, if you slap the ground with your foot, or you're walking and it's kind of loud, that's because you do not have much strength in the top of your foot to slowly lower that foot to the floor. Instead, you just slap. But after our toe walks and heel walks, we're doing some rock backs. 2 types of rock backs. First one is toes up, balls of the feet into the ground, just like our normal hips to the butt to the heels. Same idea. Push the hips back, really trying to press the top of our foot into our shins, or as far as we can go. Rock it in and out. Once we are feeling good with that, staying in that position, this time make the feet flat. Rock those hips back, stretching out the top of our foot now. From there, you guys are going to need a band at home. If you don't, this one is a little tricky without it, so good luck. But banded big toes, toes down. So if I'm taking a seat, if you don't have socks, this will make it a lot easier. But taking that band, actually we're going to do this standing, taking that band, pulling it tight across, step on that band just like we do for our hip flexor march. Instead, it is pulling our big toe away. Your goal is to leave the rest of your toes on the floor and then just pick up that big toe and put them back down. This is a really good bunion corrector. If you have someone who has a big toe that's really crossed over to one side, maybe even crossing over other toes, this is going to be good help for you. Once you do that, this time do the same thing, except the rest of your toes are going to stay up and then picking up that toe, putting it back down, leaving that toe up. It looks very simple, but you will feel this in your foot, especially if you really think about keeping that posture in your foot correct. So that is our big toe up, down, with toes up and toes down. From there, nice and easy, you can do this seated or standing, but just some ankle circles going counterclockwise and clockwise, whichever direction you like, or both really is best. From there, bunny hops, or you can do calf raises. Bunny hops is keeping the heels off the ground, just bouncing here up and down. But if that's too much for you, you can do calf raises, just trying to move quick here. Then last one, toe waves. This is a little mind-muscle connection tester. It's also a lot more tricky than it looks. So, make sure our feet are right, toes are pressed into the ground, weights through the middle, arches in our feet. We are going to leave our toes on the ground, pick the big toe up, then pick the toes up, big toe down, rest of the toes down, big toe up, rest of the toes up, big toe down, rest of the toes down. Then you can reverse it. Leave the big toe down, rest of the toes up, big toe up, rest of the toes down, big toe down, rest of the toes up, big toe up. These are called toe waves. Really tricky, little mind-muscle connection tester there. Getting into our workout, that was our warm-up. First up, our first block. Maybe hard for you to see, but I'm going to try to go through it. Banded knee push. A little bit of a weird one, but always a good one. A lot of our stuff is going to mimic our knee pull, banded knee pull. So, setting up, taking that band, putting it around the front of our foot, and you want the band to go under that outside and inside knuckle. Pull the band out tight, step on it, make sure it has some good tension. One foot is going to be straight, one foot is going to be out to the side. The one pointing out to the side is the one we are worried about. Turning our chest now to that foot. Our goal is to push our knee as far as we can over our toes while keeping that foot posture. Now the foot arch does collapse a little bit naturally as you push the knees over the toes. That is natural, but something that'll look more like this, falling that far completely inward, is not what we're looking for. You may be able to see it a little bit as I push my toes or knee forward. You can watch it drop ever so slightly, but it's only a little bit of movement. So that is our knees over toes. That's working on our ability to squat deeper. For those of you who ever do goblet squats or squats with heels elevated, this is because we do not have good range of motion, knees over toes. So we need that heels elevated to sit deeper into that squat. Just a thought for you. Then we have banded foot inversion. So same idea, very similar way we just set it up. Except this time the band is going around the outside of the ankle, pulling inwards, just under the knuckles on the outside of the foot. Once again, step that band, make sure it's nice and tight. And we are going to be rolling from a flat-footed position into making an extreme, exaggerated arch in that foot. We're just rolling back and forth, going about 8 to 10 on each side. You will definitely feel this in the arch of your foot if you're really squeezing those toes, thinking about keeping everything nice and strong in that foot. From there, a tennis ball calf raise. So ditching our band, taking a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, anything about this side. A golf ball is a little too small, a little too hard as well. But putting that ball on the inside knuckle of your heel, take that ball, put it a little lower and a little behind. Now if you put it in that spot between both feet, it should create almost like a little pocket that ball can sit in. So now, once again, get the foot posture right, press the toes, big toe, rest of the toes, curl the foot out. As we come into a calf raise, I want you to think about really squeezing the heels together. So as we come up, squeeze those heels together in the back, squeeze that tennis ball, and if you are doing it right, you'll definitely be feeling it in your feet. We're just working on some ankle mobility here, being able to twist and raise at the same time is something very important to foot and ankle health. So give that one a try. Then we have just a little bit more ability, toe roll over to raise. This is another good warm-up one for you. If we were here flat, regular foot, just rolling the toes over, maybe get a few cracks. I want you to try to push the front of that ankle out, really get a nice stretch, then rock it back into toes up, just on the heel, then back over, just rocking back and forth, going about 10 each side. I'd like to call this the 90-90 of the foot if I could. Moving into our next set, next round, we have towel scrunches. I don't have a towel because they do not work on these floors, but you don't need one if your floor is slippery enough or if you have socks on. So once again, getting in that good foot posture, everything square and tight. Our goal is to keep the outside of your foot really pressed into the ground. I mean digging into the ground. While the rest of your foot, you are curling your toes, but most importantly, really that big toe to the heel. You should really, if you're doing it correctly, get that super exaggerated arch in the foot, and you'll feel it all down in the middle here. It's a killer. But doing them both at the same time, really squeezing those feet. If you have a towel at home, you can curl up a towel, really just crawl it up closer to you. If that gets too easy, lay that towel flat, put a phone on it, a little 5-pound weight, might be even too heavy. I'd start with the phone, and then curl that phone towards you with that towel. Then we have ankle alphabet, nice and easy. Find a chair, you can take a seat, find a wall. As long as you have some balance, you can put one foot up. We are drawing the letters of the alphabet, so just going A, B, C, D, E, just getting full mobility in that foot. You can go A to Z. We did A to K in this workout. Then we have another one with our tennis ball toe grip. Tennis ball on the ground, putting your toes over the front. Your goal is to just try to press that ball down as hard as you can. 5 reps for 5 seconds. So holding it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax for a second. Another 1, 2, really pressing that into the floor. 1, 5. Another break and repeat. Then from there, kettlebell or banded tib raises. If we were doing banded, just like our hip flexor march, band around the foot, just under the toes, stepping on it, making it tight. We're gonna have to either hold the wall or hold some balance, and then focus on extending the foot up and curling it down. If you are able to take a seat, this gets much easier than trying to hold your balance, or you can grab a kettlebell and do it this way. If you have a light enough kettlebell at 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 15, whatever you need, you can do the same thing, holding it up, except letting that weight fall, curling it up, letting it fall, and back up. Moving into our balance and stability round. A foam pad, single leg calf raise. If you have foam pads or like a wobble board or a Bosu ball, this is all really good for that. Going single leg, really gripping that floor, just working on a single leg calf raise. But you can do it without one of those either. Just as difficult that way as well. Then we have the single leg clock, another balance tester here. Making sure our front leg is going to go straight. It is reaching out as far as you can in front of you, that is 12. Then reaching out to the side to 3 o'clock. Reaching out behind you to 6 o'clock. And then if you want to get extra fancy, you can do the curtsy, reaching out to 9 o'clock. But the goal is to watch my foot, make sure it doesn't fall flat, right? Make sure everything's tight, posture is good. Take it slow and really ensure that our bodies are moving correctly. So try that one there. Then we have a kneeling knee push calf raise. So we did our knee push with the band where we stepped out and pushed that knee over toes. This time, we are going to be in a half knee. You can put your hands above your knee. It actually might make it a little harder. But keeping that good foot arch as best we can, pushing the knees and toes, or the knees over our toes. Once we get as far as we can go, I want you to try to raise it into a calf raise, hold it for a few seconds, and slowly drop it down. Having those knee pushed over the toes into a calf raise, it's going to be a real workout for the foot. Not something that usually happens that often. Usually once we're at knees over the toes, going into a calf raise isn't much of a help in most exercises. So this is something that your body's not really going to be used to and is a lot more difficult than it looks. Then we have single leg around the world to wrap up our balance. If you want, you can use your tennis ball. Grabbing the foot, one leg up, just passing the tennis ball around your body. You can go under the leg and around, whatever you like, as long as you try and keep that balance. If no weight is a little too easy, you can grab that kettlebell once again and do the same thing with a weight, passing that weight around while trying to keep that balance, really work on some ankle stability. Then finally, once you've done your whole workout, you've done 3 to 4 sets of all of those, your ankles are feeling good, definitely a little sore, it's time to put it all together. This is where it all comes down to, right? So, a body weight squat and a forward lunge. Now, I will say, doing a perfect form squat can be really difficult. Even if you think you're doing all the parts right, you got everything right, it may just not happen. And that's because either we're not strong enough, body dimensions may not work out perfectly for what we're trying to do, but because you were trying to do it, you're going to move that much smoother no matter what. So, squaring ourselves out, gripping that forward, big toe into the ground, rest of the toes into the ground, roll that ankle out, balance ourselves, weight through the middle of our foot, not leaning too far back, too far forward. Tuck the hips, shoulders back and down. Squeeze the core, deep breath in. Drop into that squat. Press it up. Some of you may notice you lean back, toes come up. That's where it's going to get hard, especially as we sit back. We're going to want to fall back because that's where most of our weight goes. That's when pressing the big toe, especially the knuckle of that big toe, into the floor, it's going to make a big difference. So one more time. Sitting, really trying to keep everything square on the way up. Then, once you've tried a few of those, same idea with a forward lunge. Instead of going just straight into a fast, real quick forward lunge, you even saw me there. If you noticed, my knee fell in a little bit. That's because we go too fast, that our form's not perfect. So, I want you to step out first. Once again, make sure our foot's feeling right, then sink into that front lunge, almost split squatted up, and step back. Like I said at the start, slow it down. We do everything so fast, that's how we skip over the little stuff, and we end up hurting ourselves in the long run. It's the same thing on the other side. Step it out, make sure the foot arch is all good, everything's stable, then drop it. Make sure knees stacked over ankles, and that's it. That's how we move properly. If there's anything I do want you to take away from this, is one, this is not just a gym lesson. Definitely the most important part. This is a life lesson, not a gym lesson. You can do the most perfect squat in the gym, deadlift, lunge, RDL, hinge, whatever you want to do. But if you don't do it outside the gym, what's the point? If you can squat 315 pounds perfectly, but you go to pick up your laundry or grocery bag, trash bag, and all you do is use your back and curl it up, there's no point. All right? So the next time that we're, squatting down, need to grab something out of the cabinet, looking in the fridge, anywhere, I need you to think, all right, let me square up a little bit, make sure my knees are going out, everything's stacked, and you'll notice, hey, my pain's starting to go away. I've done it to myself. Looking in the fridge, I'll sit at the bottom. My ankles are all falling in like this, and I can feel my knees screaming for help. And all it takes is a little roll out, make sure everything's stacked, maybe sit up a little taller, and the pain is gone, just like that. So, being conscious and being aware of how you move and how you can change how you move is super important, and that's what I want us to take home from today's lesson. And then adding on to that, and in tandem, beware of your habits. We live such long lives, and we do so many things every day that our habits can become real routine and something that we don't think about very often. If you can just catch yourself once a week, once a day, if you're really lucky, and think, hey, maybe I'm not doing this right. Hey, am I really stepping? Am I slapping the floor when I walk? Are my knees hurting when I'm squatting down trying to grab something? Am I using my back? Just think a little bit. And that's all I really have for you. If you thought highly or anything about this workout, please let me know how you felt. If you have any questions, please ask me. Don't feel afraid. I'm here to help you guys out, and I'll see you guys next time.